Hey, good evening and welcome to another episode of the Drive Marketing. And tonight, Corey and I have the pleasure to sit and visit Mr. Graham Blagg, owner and operator of Innovation AgMarketing. Graham, thank you for being here tonight.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys working me into your busy schedules.
Oh man, absolutely. And I tell you what, there's never a question, can we get you worked in our schedule? And I'll promise you, when we have the chance to sit here and visit about the embryo on snow, we were going to make time.
For an event like this, it's sure a day that everybody's got circled on the calendar. We're all about it.
Right. Yep. And you know what makes this year's particularly unique is that Graham's not only having one sale, Corey, it's two times in 22. Graham, visit with us just a little bit on the thought behind Oklahoma City and Denver, and just kind of an overview of your plans at those two events.
Absolutely. So in 2022, we made the decision that we'd have two events, one in Oklahoma City in conjunction with the Cattlemen's Congress. It'll be held at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum again this year, just like it was in 2021. The decision to have two sales and to go back to Denver is simple because of the history and the tradition that follows the National Western Stock Show. When after touring the stock show this summer and having the opportunity to see the new facilities, thought it was something that was essential to try to do two events. I'll say it was definitely more simplistic when we were trying to figure out what we were going to do a year ago when there was no stock show, rather than to figure out how to split this deal up. But that's something that is unique to the sales. Will be completely different. They'll have cows that are represented individually within each particular sale, so there's not going to be any crossover. The catalog is one and the same, and the first 1 through 65 lots will be in Oklahoma City, and then we'll pick up with the Denver issue in the second half of the catalog, which starts at lot 101. We'll actually lead things off with a live lot in Denver, just like we will in Oklahoma City. And I think that the way that we're able to cover the bases and have an event in both venues, specifically for the breeders, the buyers, and the sellers that are not sure which direction they were going to go early on. I know that with Oklahoma City is a lot of the national shows for certain breeds, just as Denver is for the Charolais breed in particular. So this allows us to spread things out to accommodate those buyers and accommodate the breeders especially.
I gotcha. Yeah, and you know, this sale, you know, we've talked about it in the past. It's an animal within itself. And I say an animal just in terms of quality. And for me, I guess when I think of Embryo on Snow, I feel like when it first came out, correct me if I'm wrong, I felt like it was more composite oriented. And I you know, and just how life is sometimes, how you start something is where you're pigeonholed. But this sale has grown not just as a composite embryo sale. You've got the top-notch breeders from every breed of cattle wanting to be a part of this event.
You know, when Christy started Embryos on Snow, she was so aggressive with the exclusivity factor of it. And it was based around the composite show steer or composite show heifer industry, without a doubt. And as things evolve and as a lot of breeders have diversified their operations for one reason or another, and in a lot of instances, we see where different breeders might diversify just so their kids don't have to show against those specific breeds that they're raising and marketing. So as that evolves, it gives more opportunities as we've got breeders that may be raising Herefords that also are involved with Angus, or we've got Simmental breeders that have started buying Angus cattle because their kids, they want to show something different, but they can still work those into their breeding programs in the composite sector. So it's definitely something that's evolved with the industry. And I would say that the biggest thing is the mindset of the breeders for diversifying their operations that's allowed this sale to grow.
Right, absolutely.
And with I just flipping through the catalog with modern technology nowadays, I see I don't know what the percentage is, but a large majority of the embryos are sexed to the preferred sex that the buyers would want. And boy, I mean, there's no such thing as guarantees in life, but I like your odds with a lot of these matings better than Las Vegas for sure.
You bet. And that's the one thing that you can rest assured that you throw a dart at a mating in there, and it's probably something that ties to a champion, a high seller, or an individual of influence, and it takes the guesswork out of it, and just makes it that much more interesting.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And then when you finally get to the catalog and you get to look and see, what you as a sale manager, your culmination of work throughout the years is present here as well. But I got to tell you something, Graham. It never crossed my mind when I flipped it open that your A lot was going to be a limousine bull.
You bet. Yeah, and that's something that I probably wasn't really planning on myself when we started making herd visits this summer, was running across a calf that had this much uniqueness, this much potential. And at the end of the day, I don't claim to be involved in the limousine business, but one that is this good and this unique in his parts and pieces can be used across the industry. And I know that there's a lot of opportunities right now with being able to cross these cattle up and have composite show heifers. In fact, the heifer that wins the percentage Simmental at the North American goes back to a Limflex cow on the bottom side. So I think we'll see a lot more of that moving forward, where they incorporate some of these different breeds primarily to reach cow families.
Yeah. And this bull is 3/4 blood, is that right?
He is 75%. So Kurt Meyer Genetics in Illinois, and I would have been visiting this summer, and he had mentioned that he had found a bull at J6 that he thought was awfully unique. And so when I was making my summer tours, I stopped in and saw him, and certainly agreed with that. And recently, Tim Schaefer of Indiana got involved with this bull, and collectively we've been working together promoting this calf. He'll be on display in Oklahoma City this week. He will be in the herd sire display alley as well as the Schaefer show cattle stalls. So if you're in Oklahoma City, make sure you stop by and see him. This is definitely a calf that's worth going out of your way to take a look at in person.
Absolutely. This next lot, Graham, is one that I'm awful familiar with up here. Comes from a neighbor of mine, the Warning Program, the WC Angel 7113 E cow, cow that's just wrote quite a book there in the Warning Program and what she's done. Most recently, being the mother of the one of the high selling lots there last year, Bet on Red.
Yeah, and Corey, this cow, while she comes from a long line of maternal greats, she's just in the first page of the first chapter of what she can do, in my opinion. And this is a cow that her mother was a national champion, the Angel 2870Z. She goes back to the great 8543, which would be the number one dollar generating cow in the Simmental breed, be the mother of Relentless, Bankroll, Night Watch, etc. I mean, the list of herd sires that 8543's put out is very, very hard to mimic in any breed. And now 7113's following in the footsteps. She's a young, productive cow. She raises a $192,000 bull with her first set of ET calves. There's another bull that gets purchased by Slopes, Simmental operation in Nebraska. So she's put two bulls into seed stock right off the bat, in a big, big fashion. So I think this is a cow that obviously, when you take into consideration the Warning Program and what they've been able to accomplish in their 40 plus years of raising Simmentals, you've got a cow that's got a track record like this at such a young age. I think the sky's the limit here with this one. And the great thing about it is it's 50% interest. So you have the opportunity to tap into the Warnings knowledge and expertise when it comes to mating this female.
Oh, there's no doubt that. Absolutely. It's very seldom do you find something that starts off like that out of the gate that's of that age that someone's willing to part with even just a small amount, much less 50%.
Absolutely.
Those package of you talk about new cutting edge Simmental genetics, that package of pandemic embryos on top of her, that's right at the edge of the cliff for sure.
Yeah, that's something that when Jared and I were putting this together, we were talking about what could we do this next generation. You know, she obviously works to Fort Knox. That created Bet on Red. The pandemic bull is one we'll talk about a little later, but he is, in my opinion, the next big thing when it comes to all things Simmental.
Hey, we'll move on here to Lot C, Graham. Well, you talk about somebody open up their door and giving you something to consign to this sale. Tim Schaefer gave you basically pick of the whole pen of donors at his house.
Absolutely, and this is something that Tim and I have talked a lot about, and I know that sometimes or all the time he questions his sanity for letting something like this go. When you think about a pasture sale east of the Mississippi that grosses what it grosses on the number of head, and to have the number of champions that come out of there across breeds in a year, Tim was hesitant to do something like this. And I told him, I said, I feel like I know I've done my job on keeping the Embryos on Snow sale the exclusive sale that it's always been known for. When you're selling something that it hurts to sell, and there's no question that the amount of dollars that could be generated from this investment opportunity is unrivaled. We've got cows in here that recently have raised national champions. We got one cow in particular, the Who's Playing female, back-to-back Louisville champion key females. We've got the Limousine female that was a national champion herself, and that's not even starting to talk about some of the Simmental females like Plenty Foxy. She raises, countless females from 50 to 100,000 over the last 3 years. So the opportunities to not only tap into an exclusive set of females, but more importantly, to be able to access the marketing power that Tim Schaefer has created during his tenure, and also to be able to tap into his expertise with the 50%, I think is something that's invaluable.
Absolutely. I'd say the biggest problem with that lot right there, Graham, is just being able to set your mind up and figure out which one you're going to take.
Absolutely. I wouldn't want to try to be the one who had to make the decision, because you're going to second guess yourself because there's so many great options.
Absolutely.
And what's real interesting, you talk about trying to set yourself up on which donor you're going to buy. Flip to that lot D, and you get an opportunity here to buy a clone to one of the absolute industry giants in the Red Thunder donor at Udell's.
You bet. And there's no doubt that Red Thunder is one of the timeless females in the business. You think about the list of what she's put together since she's been in production, and specifically to the style mating, that has generated hundreds of thousands of dollars in progeny sales, countless national champions, and not just recently. We're talking over the course of the last 5-8 years that she's been able to maintain this dominance. Just this last year, a style heifer calf brings $80,000 in the Udell's Advantage sale. That female was purchased by a great show family in the business, and I know that one will see her fair share of the backdrops. But there's no question that this opportunity is rare, because not only is she a clone to Red Thunder, but she's just a 3-year-old. So she's got her life in front of her. And the great thing about this is she's due to calve in January, so everything's going to be ready to roll, and she's going to be able to get into production early to be able to get those early transfer eggs put in.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no doubt. In terms of key breeding heifers, that one right there has put them on the map just everywhere. There's no doubt. Actually, I could be wrong, Graham, but I'm pretty sure that isn't that heifer a goat? He purchased those eggs in frozen form out of Embryos on Snow.
He did. Those eggs would have been purchased a few years ago through Embryos on Snow, and then she wins the Junior Nationals this summer, third overall at the Indiana State Fair. They've had a great run with that female also.
Reserve in Kansas City. Yeah,
yep, that's right.
Pretty good success story right there. Buys 3 frozen sticks of ice and wins the Junior Nationals. That's pretty awesome.
That's what Embryos knows about, though.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
that brings us to the last of the live lots at Oklahoma City. Is that correct? A through D?
Correct. We'll sell A through D in Oklahoma City, and then the catalog will be in catalog order as far as the sale order goes, like it has been. It'll start with lot 1 and go through 65, and that'll conclude Oklahoma City. It'll start at 6:30 p.m. Central Time in Oklahoma City at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. And, of course, the doors will open at 5:30. We'll have a meal being served and open bars like always. And the hospitality will be second to none. And we've got a lot of excitement coming down the road. We've got a week out. So we sure look forward to seeing everybody in Oklahoma City that's able to make it. If you're not able to, we certainly will be able to accommodate you on CCI.Live with that live broadcast.
Good deal.
Then we're going to break into the Mile High sale right here. Some of the live lots on that event.
Wow.
We talked earlier about the pandemic sire being the sire out of that warning donor. They're selling half interest in pandemic. That's a bull we stand there at stud here at 605. A bull that's sure been a barn favorite all year. He's one, like you said earlier, I think is going to have a dramatic impact on the Simmental breed for sure.
Absolutely. And pandemic is not only is he unique to the fact that he offers so many unique parts and pieces phenotypically, but he's a bull that from a marketing standpoint, the marketing plan that we have in place right now for that bull is turnkey. So what we're going to be doing with pandemic is we'll sell the initial semen offering in Oklahoma City. No semen has been sold on pandemic yet. And we will sell just the sex semen on this bull until at least we get a new partner on the bull and then can make a decision what the best move is next. But for the time being, the plan is to only sell sex semen on pandemic. And that heifer sex semen, I believe they've put up right there at 605, Corey. And
yes, sir.
I know that we've got a few embryo lots throughout both sales that are sired by pandemic. And I know that everyone that's had the opportunity to sample him that's been partners with Jared Warning on a couple cows has certainly raved about the quality of that sex semen. So we'll sell the first 200 units there in Oklahoma City. And then we'll sell the bull, 50% of him, in Denver. Now, the interesting thing for the winning buyer of pandemic is they will get 20% of the proceeds from that semen sale in Oklahoma City. So,
oh wow,
kind of got a little bit of a head start when we get started in Denver. We'll have an idea the number of dollars that the winning bidder is going to have already. I guess a head start, if you will, before the auctioning begins. So, already working on that return for the new buyer of pandemic. I think that this is a bull that is not only a great investment opportunity short term. I think that over the next couple of years, this is a bull that, as the red baldy thing continues to surge in demand and popularity, I think it's something that you're going to see this bull in a lot of pedigrees and being used by a lot of top operations.
Absolutely. And boy, keep it in line with some of the breed top sires. You move into this lot F and selling part of a breed legend in the Red Angus breed, the King of Cowboys sire.
You bet. So King of the Cowboys is a bull that's experienced very little use relative to the amount of success that he's had in a short amount of time. When he was a yearling bull, he was sold at McIntyre Red Angus in western Oklahoma to David Berry of Hidden Oaks Cattle in Texas. King of the Cowboys would have been sent down to Texas, where we sold the initial 100 units onto him in the Black Label Spring Edition. And we had a group of guys that saw the early pictures and videos of him right when he came out of that particular bull sale, and they jumped on board. That semen would have averaged close to 200 a unit that day when we sold him as a yearling. Little did we know that bull would make as big of a splash and big of an impact in the Red Angus breed in the first year set of calves as potentially any Red Angus bull has in the last 10 years when it comes to sire and elite show heifers and high sellers. The Hartman family bought some of that semen. They had a great run. The calf on the side of the American Royal Supreme would have been sired by King of the Cowboys. A different heifer that would have been out of their Tree Lane purchase. She was the champion-owned heifer at the Junior Nationals. The Warning Program also would have bought some King of the Cowboys semen and had great luck. I know they had that $80,000 valuation bred heifer that was sired by King of the Cowboys. But he didn't just get used in the Red Angus circle. We had some aggressive and progressive breeders in the club calf sector that used him to make some crosses and to try to bring some of those carrier females maybe back to center. I know Laramie Priest would have used him there the first year and got along really well on some yellow type cows to make some clean colored females. So this bull works. He's done it every time. And I know that the semen sales on him there last year when we sold it in Embryos on Snow, that sex semen would average close to 450 a unit. The conventional semen close to 250. So there's a lot of opportunity for return on a bull like this. And I think a bull that you really have to appreciate how much success he's had with such little amount of semen let go to the public.
Yeah, there was probably not, in my mind, a more impressive calf that I saw that year, aside a cow, than there was that calf that was on the side of the Hartman heifer there that year at American Royal.
You bet. He put so much foot and bone and substance into those cattle and then keeps them good looking. That's the biggest thing. And actually, after we sell King of the Cowboys, we're going to have an opportunity present from Randy McIntyre. We're going to sell a set of full sib embryos to King of the Cowboys and a set of maternal sibs sired by Redbox. So in my opinion, that combines two of the hottest Red Angus promotional sires in the business with those mating. So we really appreciate Randy and his family putting that set of embryos in the sale.
Right.
Hey, we talked earlier about you got Udell's to consign the clone to Red Thunder. In terms of key genetics, John Sullivan's he's bringing the goods to the Denver sale in this lot G. 100% interest in Who Dat Fetty.
Absolutely, and this is a cow that I think has had as much excitement and as much buzz this fall sale season as potentially any young female in the business, regardless of breed. I mean, you talk about one that continues to get the job done raising high sellers, and Who Dat Fetty is one that a lot of folks are talking about. And I know that Matt Johnson would have had that $59,000 heifer that sold there in his pasture sale. She was sired by Style. Pembroke sells one for 50 and another at 30. And then, of course, there's another one at 25. So those are all Styles. And I actually talked to Josh Elder earlier today. And in the catalog there, we had that she had a confirmed heifer calf pregnancy that's actually due tomorrow. That cow would have laid down and had a Style heifer calf today. All is well. Everything is good to go. So you're buying the cow and a Style heifer calf with Lot G.
Yeah, and a cow that just in a short amount of time, I mean, she's we're talking about $100,000 in production on a young donor.
And that Matt Johnson just lives down the road from me here, up just in South Dakota here, and I saw that heifer twice this fall. And in terms of buzz up here in the South Dakota upper Midwest, I mean, there was not more buzz than there was on that $59,000 Style daughter out of that cow.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I think that's exciting. The fact that not only you have the chance to own 100% of Fetty, but now there's a Style heifer calf that's in the mix. So opportunities right here, and listen, a coupon that make for a pretty quick return there.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And then you move to the Lot H, the chestnut donor. Tell us a little bit about this. This is pretty outcross Angus genetics for today's time.
Very, very outcross, and a cow that has done a tremendous amount for the Chestnut Angus program at Pipestone, Minnesota. Glenn Johnson and his family have a first-class Angus program. The Watonka WJ63 female is one that is the dam of redemption. Redemption would be the sire of countless high sellers for the Chestnut program, countless champions that would also include that Penna 3 that they won with at the Cattlemen's Congress last year. So this is a young cow. Yeah. This is a young cow that offers elite outcross Angus genetics with the phenotype that we can all appreciate. And this female numerically stacks up with the very best of them. So this female, there's a lot of opportunity here and a lot of different avenues that one could go with this female within the Angus breed alone, just depending on the segment that your program emphasizes. So I think this cow is a really neat addition to the sale this year. Glenn and his family will be selling 100% of this female. She's only been flushed one time. And so this is a female that's earned her keep the old-fashioned way and done a heck of a job for the Chestnut program. And I know this is one that'll make an impact moving forward.
Well, and again, Glenn and Wesley, great friends, customers, neighbors of mine up here, great people to work with. Them guys, they got a good eye for phenotype, but yet they bring some numbers and they bring some breed pedigree along with that high quality phenotype. Them guys know how to get her done for sure.
Absolutely. So when those guys when they were mentioning that they would maybe be interested in selling a piece of this cow or Oliver, I thought that'd be a great fit for Denver, especially with him coming off that win at Cattlemen's Congress last year. They'll have their pen on display at the National Western again, their sale bulls for their February sale. And then, of course, they'll have their Penna 3 heifers. And this female that we're talking about here, the WJ63, her influence can be seen throughout a lot of the cattle that they'll have on display. So definitely worth a stop by the Chestnut Angus program if you make it to Denver to see their impressive set of bulls and females.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no doubt.
And we've just got the last live lot in Denver is this Bailey Madonna cow, selling half interest in her.
You bet. And so this is a young cow that I would have run across in North Dakota 2 summers ago and fell in love with this cow at Scott Bailey's. Scott Bailey and his wife Joey, no strangers to the spotlight when it comes to raising elite Simmental cattle. They'd also be the home of the Dreamy cow. Okay. So there's a lot of pedigree and a lot of history in this program. And in fact, the Madonna 720E cow, her sire Cash In, is actually a direct son of 8543 that's sired by Sherbet. Scott would have bought the Cash In bull from Warnings a few years ago before Warnings ended up buying a part of him back to use. So there's some very unique parts and pieces to this female's pedigree that I think is one that moving forward, the mating flexibility that she offers is really unique. And she raised a Remedy heifer calf that sold this fall. She raised a $37,000 profit heifer. Those are the only 2 that she sold. So at $37,000 and $18,000, she's off to a pretty good start for a young, productive cow. She's a female that flushes big. So that's something that from an investment opportunity, and you look at, I think that the flush records alone will indicate that she is worth the chips. There's a bull calf out of this Madonna 720E sired by Remedy that will be at the Oklahoma City Cattlemen's Congress. And I do know that there's one that's at Hartman's that will be selling in February that's awfully unique as well. So some very intriguing things about this Madonna 720E. In my opinion, she has the credentials to be the next big thing in the Simmental breed. And Scott was willing to allow 50% interest in her to sell. Someone can hop in and get on board with a great young female that's I think is going to do a lot of big things.
I was talking to Tim Anderson about this cow, or he was telling me about her there this fall when he was up there on herd visits. He said first time he laid eyes on her, he said she's just an absolute beast.
Yeah, she's a creature. There's no question about it. And then when you realize that she's a Simmental and has the amount of bells and whistles and combines them the way she does, this one here, it doesn't matter what she is, she's a good one.
Right. We've got to visit about these live lots at both sales, but what is it about this sale too that allows you to go in and have multiple breeds of high quality embryos? You can flip through this sale catalog and see multiple breeds that are offering semen on bulls that are exclusive to sometimes just this sale or just so limited amount even offered. Talk to us about the diversity of the breeds of embryos, the semen lots. Talk to us about those at both sales.
Sure. So, we've got the hardest decision to make about this particular year and getting ready for the 16th sale was to decide what lots fit where. And so really the only way that there was to do it was when we started making the list, we'd go, okay, this is the goods going this way and the goods going that way. And we're going to split it up as evenly as we can. And so because of that, it's given us an opportunity to highlight more of those specific sires. And so in Oklahoma City, we'll have all the breeds represented, whether it be the champion steer in Louisville, full sib eggs to him, right down to full sibs to the heifer that actually was supreme at the Cattlemen's Congress last year for Lauren May, the Hereford female Purple Rain. So there's a lot of diversity, but the common denominator, whether it be the semen, the embryos, the live lots, the flush opportunities, or the pregnancies, the common denominator is the exclusiveness and the ability that these females genetically are not something that you can tap into any day of the week. This is a one-time deal. For example, a Charolais cow that comes to mind would be Mark Johnson's JoJo cow. They have not sold any embryos on that cow for over 5 years. And I talked Mark into selling an IVF cycle on that female in Oklahoma City. So the last time that IVF cycle sells was in embryos on snow. The record of what it brought has yet to be broke at 40,000 for that cycle. That sounds like a lot to justify, but when you talk about the opportunity to tap into some of these young females that have been proven, and this is an opportunity to put your own prefix and your program on the map in a lot of instances. And that's something that we really strive for, and we're really diligent when we're putting the sale together, is to maintain that exclusiveness, because I think that's what makes the sale so special.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I have had more fun flipping through this thing. I really enjoyed this catalog because I tell you what it does for me. You flip through here, and I don't care if it's the Herefords, the Angus, the Maines, the Simmentals. What you find out is these elite programs, no matter what breed they are, you get an inside look at what they're thinking about. What you see, some new matings, some fresh matings. These guys are willing to put it on the line. You mentioned getting an opportunity to buy an embryo to as recent as a steer that wins Louisville this past November. But we've also seen some elite donor females mated to some bulls that these guys haven't even seen them, but they're willing to share them with you because they have that much faith in what they're doing in the cattle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, the one thing that I always think is an interesting sale feature the last 3 years that I've put a lot of emphasis on is trying to get an IVF cycle on a young female that may be still being shown or campaigned. And 2 years ago, it would have been the Stagmeyer female's Lucy heifer that was reserved at the Junior Nationals, reserve in Denver. And actually, Jared Boyert and Chris Effling bought that cycle. And this fall, 2 of the high-selling Angus heifers in Boyert's online sale would have been out of that Lucy female. Then last year, was able to get that great Phyllis daughter that Will Coor and Maple Crest had that was champion in Louisville. sold the cycle on her. Actually, Jared Boyer and Effling buy that one again. So they believed enough in the first time to try it again. And we've done this again, and we're fortunate that some of these breeders are so willing to share in these cattle exclusively, but they know that this is the one time. And that's something that I've got a lot of respect for the breeders that are behind these cattle, because it's all the full circle. And what I mean by that is they're willing to sell their very best in this event, because it also helps with the promotion, in my mind, of future sales for them. We try very, very hard, and that's something that I've been very passionate about trying to maintain, is that promotion for these breeders in the catalog, and talking about their programs and their families, and telling the story about them. I think that's something that's very important. And this year, the Angus female that I was able to secure a cycle on was the Angus Queen Ruth daughter, the casino that the Wheeler family showed. She would have won Kansas City and Louisville. So we'll sell an IVF cycle on that female in Oklahoma City, and that's something that I think is without a doubt a sale feature.
Absolutely.
Yep, no doubt. Well, Graham, I got to tell you, it's been a pleasure of mine, and I know Corey feels the same way, to get to visit with you and work through this cell catalog. And we'd be here until January 7th if we tried to just cover every one of these elite lots. But so tell us, January 7th, Cowboy Hall of Fame is the Oklahoma City sale. All the information can be found at CCI.Live. Innovation AgMarketing website has information. You can find cell catalogs. And then moving to the National Western in Denver, January the 14th at the new Stockyards Event Center. What did you told me they were going to tell us about what they're going to do there real quick?
Yeah, so in Denver, Clancy Anderson is who we've worked with at the National Western. Really looking forward to the event in Denver as well, because it's going to be something that is new this year, just like the facilities. We're not going to have the sale at the Renaissance. The sale is going to be on the grounds. And what we're going to do is, when they get done with the Penn show there on Friday afternoon, they're going to transform the new Whitworth Show Arena into the ballroom. And we'll convert that show ring into the sale facility. And really excited about how that transforms and comes together as we offer. We start, I guess, a new chapter in the Embryos on Snow Denver edition, and we'll lead things off with Pandemic there. He'll be the first lot to sell as we fire things up in the new Whitworth Show Arena.
Good deal. Well, that'll be exciting. Not only we get to witness a new start in the yards as we have all grown up to see it. This will all be new to us. Also, I think it's exciting for you to tackle that challenge down there in a new venue. But hey, I got to tell you, as always, extremely high quality. Great job for yourself. We can talk a little bit about all of these outfits involved, but I got to give it to you, my friend. It's a lot of work in your office, I know, getting it all put together, and you do such a fine job at that. So, hey, thanks for coming on and visiting with Corey and I. We'll see you in Oklahoma City for starters, and be careful getting there.
Sounds great. Appreciate you guys' time, and can't say enough how great I think it is with what you guys are doing with Drive Marketing and the promotion that it gives the entire industry. So kudos to you guys, and keep up the great work.
Thanks, Graham.
We appreciate